With American troops already struggling after the Quran burning in late February, this tragic incident may only make things worse. We're joined by Colonel Cedric Leighton, who served as Deputy Director of the National Security Agency and is an expert in counterterrorism, foreign affairs, and risk management. Thanks for being with us tonight.
Maureen, it's my pleasure.
Afghan President Hamid Karzai called the killings intentional murders and unforgivable. Clearly a lot of anger there. What kind of damage control does the U.S. have to do to avoid this becoming an explosion?
Well, this is one of the worst PR nightmares that the U.S. could ever imagine having in Afghanistan. It is a very, very serious problem, and it is one of the worst situations that we could have run into at this point in time. As far as damage control, it's practically impossible to do anything that will mitigate what happened. The only thing that you can do is to make sure that all of the soldiers and Marines and airmen that are out there in Afghanistan have the clearest training, the clearest directive to never ever do anything like this to any civilian, whether they think they might be Taliban or not. You just cannot do these kinds of things in this kind of a war.
And Colonel, this shooting raises questions about President Obama's plan for a troop withdrawal from Afghanistan. Is this a sign that the U.S. mission in Afghanistan is failing?
Well, Maureen, that's the $64,000 question. I think we have overextended ourselves in Afghanistan, and I do believe that the strategy, quite frankly, is not working. And I say that very, very reluctantly. The problem with the strategy is that you are working with a culture and a system that is not ready to receive our aid. We're working in a way that where the cultures are really at cross purposes. And I don't think that in this particular case our strategy can work unless we change it drastically.
These killings are likely to play into the hands of the Taliban, who will milk it for all it's worth. How can international forces counter whatever the Taliban might do with this particular incident?
What you can do is you have to work very deliberately and very carefully with villagers on a one-on-one level. You have to teach them that Americans are all not like the soldier that allegedly conducted these killings. And you have to teach them that Americans are, and other NATO forces, are there for their good and not for our own purposes. And that is something that is very, very difficult to do in a situation like this.
Indeed. Colonel Cedric Leighton, unfortunately we are out of time, but thank you so much for coming in tonight.
My pleasure, Maureen. Thanks for having me.